You make mistakes. But it's not your mistakes that people measure you by. It's what you learn from them, right? At 5, I learned about niggers and faggots. At 8, I stole for the first time. I still have that poetry book today. At 11, I began to hurt things the way my father hurt me. 17, beating up gay men in Rivershawn Park, in the alleys of Oak Lawn and Cedar Springs in Dallas, Texas. 18, I was in a psychiatric hospital with a gay man for a roommate. He was dying of AIDS. He could have hated me for everything I stood for, but he didn't. He invested in a simple act of kindness. He showed me how I could redefine myself through the written word. I began to change. At 26, I started to go to poetry readings, taking the new things I had learned. My first friend that was a poet was named Jason Oswell. Him and his husband, Tom, became the closest friends in my life. 26, they came to me one night and they said, Jason, we've got a friend named Lisa. She just got out of a bad relationship. She's looking for a one-night stand. We pick you. Being the good friend that I am, I said, sure. My one-night stand lasted 4 days. I've got mad skills. I left, and I called her about 2 hours later, and I said, I can't be away from you. There's something about you, I need you in my life. That was 3 kids and 16 years ago. I do not suggest one-night stands as the way. This past summer, my 14-year-old daughter came to me and said, Dad, I need to talk to you about something. And I said, sure, let's talk. What do you want to talk to me about? She says, I'm learning about myself. And I said, that's good. You need to examine yourself. That's the only way you know who you are. And she said, Dad, I think I'm gay. I have feelings for women. And I thought back to what I learned when I was 5. I thought back to the things I did when I was 17. To my friend that sits in Huntsville Penitentiary until I'm 58 years old because of the murder he committed. I thought about Patrick. Never get to tell him thank you for showing me how to change my life. I thought about Jason and Tom, who gave me the gift of my wife and my children. And I looked at my daughter and I said, you know, God doesn't give a shit who you love. God wants you to love somebody. And this is the poem that goes with that. For my daughter. I have a prayer for you. Born of these arms, slivers of glass that once cradled the moon, these eyes that are rejuvenated with wisdom from the majesty of your smile, this frame that protects you from the outside world one day. You're going to outgrow all these things, leaving me to shrivel to dust with the passing of time, and on that day, I give to you this prayer. Scrawled with 2,096 tongues, feverish on a horizon, devouring wind, and the creation of thought, the night stands on its end, beseeches a flame from its bloodstones, ignite their shrines for the mere taste of copper, and all men are forged from a woman. You are the weaver of magic, conjuring the faltering existence of flesh, thick with the grandeur of faith. You are the builder of nations and the prophecy upon which worlds are dreamed. You never stand alone. 2,096 tongues bathe the calluses of your previous body until you were pure, giving you a name among them, they all sang, Sister. Bled you with the desires of water, 14 years skimming the water surface with each step, muttering the words of silence, until you were grown to be a woman carrying the weight of the world within your heart. It'll never be too much, as long as you learn the art of balance. Suckle to the flower of humility, but before humility there must be freedom, and before freedom there must be love of self. This is the revelation upon which revolutions are built, so begin here. Know the answers to the questions you will ask. For one day you'll be placed on a battlefield where many have fallen. So come out fighting the battles you are most certain to lose as those you are most certain to win. And when you stand facing that enigmatic giant treading on the fingertips of God, he will take you out of your name, bitch. But baby, what he really means is, woman, I fear your strength. So be strong for the fallen voices that sang Sister. 2,096 tongues, dervishes floating on one leg, learn to carry the weary within their arms. Their hair burns from the weight of conviction, outstretched past Venus, circumnavigating the sun beyond the barriers of gender. And you will take your place among them if on the battlefield your feet are firmly planted proud. You never squander the wetness of the sound begging to be heard. Cherish syllables and vowels, for in them is the blossomings of love, and love can be all things. Noun, verb, adjective, adverb, conjunction, adjoining two people. So make smart decisions in love and be true to yourself. You never walk in the shadows of a man. You either go by his side holding his hand, or you let him fall behind you. You got to leave what does not love you. For 2,096 tomes contrived you an abundance of virtue, and beauty wears your flesh well. So share it when and with whom you feel. Give love, and back to you will come in tens. Be as many people as you can, and know that sometimes a woman's going to love you longer, stronger, deeper, softer, more emotionally than a man. But when you and that woman break up, she can take your clothes. She'll make smart decisions in love and be true to yourself. Nothing's left to chance as long as you're the one taking chances. So move with the purpose of 2,096 tomes, feverish on our horizon, devouring wind in the creation of thought. The night stands on its embassies as a flame from its bloodstones, ignite their shrines for the mere taste of copper. And all men, every last one of us, are forged from a woman.